Hi guys, this is Aegis, and I've got here the first game between VPElite, who has their player TGS Nota spawning here as the blue Terran player. On the other side, we do have Mechanical Gamers MG Kamikiri spawning as the red Zerg player. So we do have a TVZ in this game. Of course, this is in the American Pro League. The American Pro League does have a set map pool every week. Game 1 is going to be Shakuras Plateau. Game 2 will be Match Point. Game 3 is GSL Terminus SE. Game 4 is the losing team's choice, the currently losing team. So whichever team is down one game gets to choose the map for game number 4. Game 5 will be on Tal'Darim Alter, the Blizzard ladder version. So they're just confused. I'm not sure what they're confused about. Maybe the rules are not. There's that nice happy face from Kamikiri. So we'll see if MG is able to take it against VPElite in this first match, or if VP is going to be able to take it away on the first match. And of course, players are declared ahead of time so people can prepare for the matchup. And over here, TGS Nota is grabbing his gas. Pretty standard timing. He does have his barracks on the way as well. Our Zerg player is positioning himself to take his second base. Third hatchery. That's a little bit early. I meant to say that he has an overlord over here watching over for this hatchery in case any sort of bunker rush is happening. So you can see it. Of course, hatcheries when they build don't have much of a sight range at all. And SCV now headed out for VP's elites. TGS Nota going to be checking at the watchtower, going to be scouting for the Zerg player right now. A drone scout also on the way to the bottom right-hand corner, going to be able to scout out our Terran player. Let's see if he's opted to wall off pretty early. Yes, he has, so he won't be able to get in here. There's also a Marine at the ramp. We'll be able to shoot at the drone if it decides to try to bust in here. Which I can imagine Kamikiri is going to back that drone right up and is going to try to spot for some sort of expansion timing in case something like that decides to happen. However, we do have a factory on the way for TGS Nota. He will be able to maybe get a reactor on this first barracks, swap it over and do some Hellion action, or he could just be going for standard Marine tank. We got the second hatch finishing up for our Zerg player, so he will be able to begin mining there real soon. He should be transferring a couple of drones right now. Looks like he's not really opting to do that. Also making a couple of Zerglings to be able to spot around the map. There's 4 Zerglings out onto the field. We'll be able to grab both watchtowers as well as spot in front of Terran's base. We've got 3 Marines, and we do have a reactor on the way, so Hellions will be out on the field shortly. 2 Queens on the way, not opting to get that Zergling speed as of yet. That is not on the way. We'll see if he decides to do that when he reaches that 100 at gas. There it is, Zergling speed getting started. That first Queen is going to decide to lay a Creep Tumor instead of doing a Vomit. Both Queens are actually laying Creep Tumors, so he's opting to get that Creep Spread really early. Couple of Zerglings poking up the front. We'll see the factory switch over, so there are Hellions on the way. That our Zerg player does know that. He should be getting a Spine Crawler up to be able to defend against this, and there it is, the Spine Crawler as well as an Evolution Chamber to block off the path into the main, making it very hard for those Hellions. However, they can still run up the ramp, maybe swing by this way, see if they can do some damage to the drone line at the natural expansion. Zergling speed is about halfway done, and the first few Hellions are out in the field. The first one is advancing across the field right now. We'll be able to clear the Zergling at the Xel'Naga Tower if he would just scout in there, and there it is, going to be roasting away that Zergling. There he goes down, and the Hellions will also check at the other tower. There is another Spine Crawler on the way for our Zerg player. Both Queens are positioned at the front, very nice position. We'll be able to deny those Hellions any access into the front. Meanwhile, our Terran player has begun making his second orbital command. Will be able to expand to his natural expansion real soon. He's swapped back over with his factory, maybe looking to grab the tech lab or grab another tech lab sometime soon. A couple of Marines going to be scooting out here. The Hellions not quite able to make it in there. There is a spine crawler up on the high ground, or 2 spine crawlers up on the high ground. So these Hellions have been nullified, but it does deny Zerg the ability to be aggressive out around the map with his Zerglings, because those Hellions will just roast them away. There's also a Spore Crawler on the way. Curious decision from our Zerg player. He may see those Hellions as an indication that he's spending all the gas on something else. The Queen's also joining the fray over here. Will they be able to surround those Hellions? Not quite able to do it. A lot of Zerglings getting roasted. The Queen's turning back to the base. We'll see if they're able to make it back. They do make it back. One of the Queens does make it down into orange health, but they do get back to be able to do some vomiting action. More barracks getting started by our Terran player. Looks like he's going to be grabbing a reactor barracks over there, as well as more siege tanks should be on the way eventually. We do have a reactor add-on for his starport, going to be getting getting those dropships, as well as some Vikings to be able to clear some overlords. Zerglings getting a nice round on one of those Hellions. However, 3 Hellions still do remain. They can continue spotting over here for any sort of move out from Zerg. There is finally a lair. 10 more drones getting made, so our Zerg player is getting very far ahead in terms of drone count. Let's take a look at the units tab. 43 drones to the 34 SCVs, so our Zerg does have a really strong economy. He could go for some sort of third base sometime soon, I feel. However, there is one Viking in here trying to do some damage to those overlords. Gonna try to clear some of these guys out so that to undersupply our Zerg player. The Zerg is going to be forced to make a couple more overlords. The Hellions still doing a great job of containing our Zerg player. A couple of Zerglings now exiting the base, and the Hellions do advance forward. We'll see how much damage they're able to do, or if the Zerglings will be able to do us around. Not quite able to do it. So MG's Kamikiri is wanting to take a third base, I imagine, but he's just not quite able to move out across the map with the few number of Zerglings that he does have. We also have a Baneling's Nest on the way. The Hellions now coming in here trying to get rid of that creep spread. Almost taking that creep tumor out, not quite able to do it. A couple more Zerglings coming down the ramp, going to be trying to chase those Hellions away, and the Hellions do survive. One of them going down over there. A lot of Zerglings actually expended against those Hellions. Meanwhile, our Terran player is massing up quite the force over here. He does have Marines and tanks, as well as medevacs in the air combat shield getting started as well. Starport is going to be swapping out for a barracks, as well as more barracks getting flooded in here. So he is going to be going for a mainly Bioforce supplemented with a few tanks. Looks like MG's Kamikiri has been able to secure his third base, chasing away those Hellions, or I think destroying them is more of an accurate description. One Zergling going to be scouting for that third base, not going to find it. Zerg is racking up 1,000 of each mineral type, so he does have quite a food disadvantage actually in terms of if you compare it to our Terran player. But I feel like he's in a pretty good position. He could take another base very easily, take a fourth base as well. Since he does have the Zerglings all across the map, he will be able to flood in a ton of units, especially with the huge economic advantage that he has secured. Zerglings running in here, going to be able to see everything that the Terran player has going on for him. We've got missile turrets coming up for TGS Nota. There are 12 Mutalisks in production, as well as the Zerg melee attacks level 1 and the centrifugal hooks for the Banelings. A macro hatch coming up as well, so he's going to be able to spend all of that money on those units. We'll see if he decides to bust in there with his units. Terran player is not quite sieged up. He does have siege mode. He has got a ton of Marines. A good Baneling hit could kill off a ton of these units and render our Terran player army less. Our Terran player is starting to move out across the map. There are Mutalisks out and about. They will be headed into the main. Are there missile turrets ready? Yes, there are. Looks like the Terran player will be safe to move out. They'll continue to cross the map right now. And there are Banelings getting morphed, additional units getting produced, 10 more Zerglings, as well as the Mutalisks trying to do some poking action, meeting up with plenty of missile turret resistance, so they will not be able to do that much damage. Even the gas is covered by this missile turret. Looks like the army units from TGS Nota are coming in here. The Sea Shanks now sieging up. The Banelings not quite able to connect with those Marines. Looks like all that's left are those Zerglings, as well as the Mutalisks. which is not a good thing. Looks like the Marines decided to kill off that Viking, not sure why. Gonna be running in here, gonna kill off that Queen, and this expansion is doomed. The Sea Shanks need to siege up as soon as possible. The Mutalisks running in here as well. The Sea Shanks gonna be warding away all of those Zerglings. 38 Zerglings, or 28 Zerglings getting produced right now. Gonna be able to defend against this real soon. A couple of drones are hiding scared in the corner. Looks like those drones will get taken out real soon. Another sim going down on the Marines. Wants to make sure that those Marines do not get over sim. Tons of Banelings getting morphed right now. The worst position to be in is if you cannot spend all of your money and you lose. So MG's Kamikiri has got to be morphing a ton of Banelings right now. We've got the Terran player now retreating across the map. He's got his Marines all on creep, and here comes all the Banelings going to be connecting with that Bioforce real soon, and the Bioforce is just trying to run away. And there goes one Baneling, gonna be able to kill that off. Those remaining Marines running scared for their life. We've also got a couple of Sea Shanks over here getting cleaned up by the Mutalisks. And TGS Noda regrouping his army, gonna join back up with one more Sea Shank, gonna possibly try to push once again. All the Zerglings are flooding forward, and 30 more Zerglings in the production queue, so we're looking at a really large Zerg army gonna be popping up real soon. More Mutalisks on the way as well. TGS Noda has got to do something about this, maybe try to take a third base. He's got a couple of SCVs coming off the line as well. Are they joining that army? No, they are not. Oh, never mind, he does have a third base over here. Totally missed that. And we do have Zerg flyer attacks level 2 on the way, and here comes our Terran player. Looks like his Marines do have only one attack upgrade, and here come all the Banelings rolling forward. The entire Terran army has been completely decimated. All that's left are those medevacs, and those Mutalisks will soon be able to catch up with those and clean that up. There's not much left at the Terran base for himself. There's just one missile turret over at this expansion. This expansion is definitely going down. The Mutalisks rolling in here as well, and all of the SCVs trying to retreat right now. There's only 2 Sea Shanks up here and a few Marines, and looks like this gigantic Zerg force has cleaned up that third expansion, was unable to get away. Our Zerg player is now resecuring his third base, grabbing the third expansion once again. We've got the Zerg flyer missile attacks, or Zerg flyer attacks plus 2 halfway complete. He's massing up additional drones right now. He's got his another base over here up and running. So our Terran player is looking in a very cramped position. Let's take a look at his mineral saturation over here. There's not much left in terms of minerals in his main, and he's mining out at his second, so he's in a very tight position right now. All he can hope to do is do an all-in off of these 2 bases and try to kill off the Zerg player, since the Zerg player has grabbed these additional bases. If our Terran player tries to come back in this, he will be very behind in terms of the economy. He may pick off that Queen, was unable to do it. The Mutalisks in the air and the Zerglings on the ground will be able to clean this up so easily, and down goes that drop. All of those drones will be able to get back to work very, very soon. There's still a command center coming up for TGS Noda. He really wants to get back into this game for his team. His team is VPElite. Can they take this game away with this push, or is he just trying to defend this spot? Looks like he's moving out to this tower area, going to be able to clear that Zergling out and secure the watchtower, but our Zerg player morphing 42 additional Zerglings as well as 17 additional Banelings. Looks like this force is mainly Marines, and drawing half of those Marines to try to do drop action is a good idea to be able to draw the Zerg force's attention, but it's just going to be very hard to come back in this game. 166 food for our Zerg player and 147 food for our Terran player. Looks like we've got the drop coming down over here for our Terran player. Not much saturation over here. He may be able to clean up these few drones and maybe do some damage to the hatchery. We'll see if it does happen. All of the drones going down really quickly, going to be loading up once again, and here comes all of the Zerglings, and that one Marine that was left behind is trying to get back into that dropship. Looks like that Marine has been sacrificed, and that dropship trying to get away. Looks like the Mutalisks have been able to catch up. Dropship going down with the majority of the units inside. Looks like a huge Mutacloud is out on the field. Let's take a look at how many Mutalisks there are. 21 Mutalisks. That is quite this large sum of Mutalisks. They're going to be scooting into the main base over here real soon. Oh, guess not. They're going to be picking off this expansion. All the units are going to have to pull back over here for our Terran player. Look, that expansion is going down so quickly, and down goes the command center. and all the Marines trying to get in here. They're just a little bit too late. Those Mutalisks can even do some damage in the main. Looks like they are not going to opt to do that. Our Terran player suffering huge losses. All the Banelings connecting with the Bioforces, and the Zerglings now surrounding all the Sea Shanks. This game is looking very grim for our Terran player, falling to 80 food. GG calls TGS Noda, and this first game goes to Mechanical Gamers MG Kamikiri. We'll see if they're able to win game 2 or if VP is going to be able to come back.